So these little leaves, there's a couple in that block, and there's a couple down in this basket block. Those I did using a blanket stitch variation. So on the design, it looks like this. You're going to start at the stem. So pretend that this is the branch that that leaf is coming off of. We're going to start right at the base of the leaf where it connects with the branch. Carry the thread up around, go down in the center V, up on the outside of the leaf, and carry the thread underneath the needle like that. And there you go, there's a loop. The next one, we're going to come right up to the next line in the middle, out to the edge. Again, carry the thread under the loop, under the needle, I mean. And there's that side. And we just continue that. And then when you get to the top, just put your needle down right at the top. Now, since it's not very far, I'm going to start the other side at the base again. I found it's a little easier for me to stitch it that way than to try to come down the other direction. But I do need to turn this so that it's a little easier. There we go. Okay, so then we're just doing the same thing. In the center to the outside, thread under the needle. Center to outside, thread under the needle. One more. And then just down in the center. Okay, so that's that little leaf right there. There. The wheat ear stitch is the little motif that's used between the designs right here. And to do the wheat ear stitch, you're going to need to start at one of the ends and work your way to the middle. And then you start at this end and work your way to the middle. So you always have to start where the V's are at the top. So we're going to start with the V. Come down in the middle, and then the other V, and down in the middle. Now we're going to go to the base of this little loop, and it's kind of like a lazy daisy, but we're doing it a little backwards. So you're going to take the eye of your needle, because that's easier to thread underneath existing threads, and you're going to go underneath both of those threads. And that's what's going to hold the loop in place. And then you're going to come right back down where you came up. And that makes a little loop. Now we're just going to repeat the same thing. So we're going to go over to that V. And then we're going to come up to this V. Down in the center. And just like last time, we're going to come up at the base of the loop. And this time we're going to take the eye of the needle and we're going to go under all 4 of those stitches right there. And down in the same hole at the base of the loop. And then up on that V. Oh, I just unthreaded it again. But I think you get the idea, right? So you just continue on until you get to the center, and then you're going to start at the other end. I made a mess of it here. You get the idea, right? Okay, there you go. The inverted blanket stitch makes these nice little circles in the bird little square. I did them on this one, I added a little space in between, and then when I did it again with the variegated thread, I went ahead and had the stitches touching each other, so it's a more dense circle. So you can choose which way you'd like to do them. If you want it completely filled in, then you just make the stitches touching each other. So to begin this one, I'll move this. These are indicated by these little circles with a dot in the center. So you come up on the outside of the circle, make that a little tighter. There you go. And you're going to go down in the center and up next to it. I won't make mine right next to it. I'll just leave a little space so you can kind of see what I'm doing. But the needle's going to go, the thread, excuse me, is going to go behind the needle. and that's the first stitch. Okay, we're just going to continue to put the needle down right in that center hole and up on the edge. Carry the thread behind the needle. And that's all you do. So you just keep going around and around. And as you get more and more, that center gets a little bit bulky, but try to just keep it right in that center. It helps me if I turn this. Hopefully I'm not making you dizzy. It's hard to talk and stitch at the same time. I was trying to think of like some jokes or something I could tell you, but I think my timing would be off. There we go. So you just continue that all the way around until you get your little circle. There's several of these little designs on the pattern. It's kind of like a little fern or something. And so the stem, the middle part is just a stem stitch. So once you get that on, then you're going to start doing these little lazy daisies. So you're going to pull the thread up right at the point of where that little leaf is going to hit the stem. And bring your needle up at the end of the loop. Your thread goes under your needle. And don't pull it too tight because you want it to stay as a loop. And your needle goes down on the other side of the loop to hold it in place. So these are simple little stitches, but they really do make a little, a fun little design, little loop. Easy to do. And you can see next to it the finished inverted blanket stitch too. And just down on the other side. So I usually I don't go down one side and up the other. I go from side to side, but that's just me. I think if you're going to use variegated thread, I would suggest doing that. Otherwise, you might have green down this side and light up that side. And I kind of like the look of the variegation going down on both sides and changing. So back in that same hole at the base, up at the top of the loop, thread under the needle, pull it but not too tight, and then needle on the other side of the loop. And those are little lazy daisy stitches. The feather stitch is this outside stitch that borders your design. And on the pattern, it looks like this. So you can see it's basically a bunch of little V's, and you're always going to start at the top of the V's. So we'll start on one side of the V, and we're going to take our needle down on the other side of the V, come up at the intersection, have our thread under our needle, and there's the first V. Now we're going to do the same thing only on the other side. So we're going to take the needle down on this side of the V, up through the center intersection, thread behind the needle, and there's that side. And you just keep going back and forth. So it's a pretty quick one too. I like this one a lot, and you can add fun details to it too. It'd be fun to add like a little French knot on the end of each one, or a lazy daisy, or you could really make it look pretty fun. So that is the feather stitch. Ta-da! I know French knots can be frustrating sometimes, but once you do it a few times and practice, once you get the feel of it, it's kind of like riding a bike, then you kind of figure it out. So you're going to come up on the dots, and in this design I'm wrapping them 2 times. So I'm just going to gently hold it there so I can still move this thread around, but it's held on the needle. And I'm going to take the point of the needle back down just a couple of threads from where I started. I'm going to pull that so it's taut but not super tight, but it's got to have some tension on it, and I'm going to hold it with my finger. Now I'm going to pull the needle down to the other side, and there I have a little French knot. So wrap it 2 times, hold it with my, hold it with my finger, go down just a couple of threads distance from where I came up, hold it with this finger, and there's another one. They're really cute, actually. If you look at them closely, they look like a little tiny miniature donut. All right, that's how you do a French knot. The blanket stitch is the border that goes around the word in the middle. So we're going to start at one end, at a corner. You pull your needle up in the corner, and your needle goes down at the end of one of the teeth and back up in that same, where you started, the same hole. And the next stitch is going to go down to the top of the next tooth, back to the center line, carry your thread under your needle, and you just continue on. So the tooth to the middle, thread under needle. And when you're pulling your thread, you want to pull it away. I didn't go under it. You want to pull it away from that loop. If you pull it this way, then it's just going to fall in like that. So we want to pull it away from that loop like that. And you just continue on. And that is just a simple blanket stitch. And I think that's the last stitch to do on this design. So once you've got these down, then you've got it made. I hope you enjoy all these stitches, and I can't wait to see your finished designs too. So if you finish these up, I'd love it if you post it on Instagram or Facebook and tag me so I can see. Thank you so much for watching this tutorial. If you enjoyed it or learned something from it, I hope you will click like, and I would love it if you'd also follow me so you don't miss any new tutorials. Thank you.